Have you ever told yourself you were just waiting for clarity before making a big decision? Like, once things feel clear, then you'll move. Once you feel sure, then you'll decide. But somehow that moment of clarity never quite arrives. I've said that to myself for years, but if I'm honest, what I was really waiting for was a feeling of zero doubt. No wobble, no internal argument, no second guessing myself. Because somewhere along the way, I absorbed this quiet rule. Before you change direction, before you trust yourself publicly, before you risk destabilizing your life, you should feel certain. Certain it will work, certain you won't regret it, certain you won't blow everything up. I thought the goal was to get rid of doubt, to outgrow it, to eliminate it, to prove that I was finally ready to trust myself moving forward. And then every time a flicker of doubt showed up, I took it as a red light. Maybe you know that feeling, that internal scanning. Is this safe? Is it right? Is it going to cost me more than I can handle? It makes sense that we do that, especially if the unknowns have not always been kind to us. But what if that's the wrong requirement? What if the problem isn't that you still feel doubt, but that you've been taught to treat it like a stop sign instead of something else entirely? If you grew up with unpredictability or gaslighting or financial instability or emotional whiplash, your nervous system learned something very practical. Unknowns can signal unsafe. And so if you've ever been frozen in a big decision, that might not be doubt. That might be your nervous system trying to keep you safe. And when something signals unsafe, the nervous system leaps into scan, predict, prevent. So of course, certainty feels like safety. Of course you want to feel sure, to be doubt-free. There's nothing broken about that thought. That's actually adaptation. But here's what I've been noticing. Certainty is a feeling I can't reliably manufacture, and it's not a feeling that life reliably provides. So if certainty isn't the prerequisite for movement, what is? Even on those days when I feel aligned, when something feels meaningful, when a decision feels right in my bones, there's still a wobble, a thin thread of what ifs. And for a long time, I interpreted that wobble as a stop sign. But now I'm beginning to see it differently. Maybe readiness has less to do with eliminating doubt and more about how we relate to it. That shifts everything because that's not about certainty. It becomes about capacity. And this is the part I almost missed for years because I kept trying to feel different before I took action. Capacity is experienced differently in the body. Certainty feels tight. It wants guarantees. It wants everything lined up. And capacity, on the other hand, feels spacious. It says, I can handle discomfort. I can tolerate not knowing. I can respond if something unexpected does happen. Certainty is about prediction. Capacity is about response. And those are very different nervous system postures. When we chase certainty, we're trying to eliminate risk. When we build capacity, we're increasing resilience. It's quieter work, but it's sturdier. So what does capacity actually look like? It looks like making a phone call, even though your voice shakes a little. It looks like having a hard conversation and knowing you can survive the awkwardness. It looks like saying, or even admitting, I don't know yet, without collapsing into shame. Capacity doesn't mean you're calm. It means your nervous system can activate and you can still stay within that. That's different than bravado. It's different than forcing yourself. It's regulated persistence. And here's something else that surprised me about this. Capacity isn't built by giant leaps of accomplishment. It's built by tolerable stretches, tiny moments where you stay 2 seconds longer than you used to, where you don't immediately abandon yourself when discomfort shows up, where you're allowed to feel uncertainty and let it exist without demanding that it disappear. Capacity grows in small, incremental, almost imperceptible ways. When you pause before reacting, when you let yourself feel nervous without deciding that something is wrong, when you move forward gently instead of dramatically, it's incremental and it's almost invisible while it's happening. But over time, your window of tolerance, your window for capacity widens. The wobble doesn't vanish. You just don't fall over it when it appears. Because this isn't about how we feel. It shapes what we allow ourselves to do. And this is where it starts to matter for reinvention. If you're waiting to feel 100% sure, you might be waiting a very long time, because life doesn't hand out guarantees, but it does allow us to expand our capacity. And capacity makes uncertainty workable. Not comfortable, not glamorous, but workable. And workable is enough. Reinvention isn't about becoming fearless. It's about becoming steady enough to move when fear is present. Not eliminating ambiguity, but strengthening the part of you that can hold it. That strength builds slowly, one regulated stretch at a time. I'm curious where you might be waiting to feel 100% sure, and what would change if the goal wasn't certainty, but instead capacity. You don't have to act on that today, just notice. Maybe even notice what happens in your body when you imagine choosing capacity over certainty. Does something tighten or soften? Does it feel relieving or confronting? There's no right response, just information. And if this conversation gave language to something that you've been feeling, there's a quieter place to sit with it a little longer and a little deeper. I've written a companion blog that goes a little farther on this subject, and it's linked for you in the description below. And if you'd like those blogs to come to you quietly, you can subscribe over there too. And if this kind of slow, real-time reflection feels like your pace, you're always welcome here. You can subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter as it unfolds right here on YouTube. And if you'd like to stay with us in this idea for just a little longer, I'll leave a video here that continues the conversation. No urgency, just one regulated step at a time. And by the way, Ralph has an almost infinite capacity for positive feedback, so feel free to drop him a good boy in the comments, and I'll make sure to tell him you said hello. À bientôt, mes amis. À la prochaine fois.